Any kind of situations out there on the road that are a result of COVID-19?
We have not had anybody test, but it has anybody tested any kind of positive COVID-19 scenario yet. But we have had scares. And when the drivers are out on the road, you got to remember, if it's a local driver, they're probably going home at night. They're getting up in the morning, going to work, and then they're done. And then you have kind of your regional driver that might be out for the night, and they have to go down the road, and they might have to fill up, or they have to use a restroom somewhere. So we've had to put in different practices and procedures to make sure that they're protected out there and feel comfortable. You know, as simple as when they get to a stop, they either stay in the truck and somebody else unloads them, or they unload and nobody comes around them, and they do have certain procedures. You know, even as simple as when they're out on the road, not passing paper. You know, what's your name? I'm gonna write your name down, you know, as received it, as opposed to, you know, taking the pen and passing it over, you know, putting it down and passing it back. So there's a number of different things. We're kind of trying to isolate those drivers as much as we can, with gloves and all PPE gear that we can provide, or, you know, they can source locally too, on their own.
What kind of PPE gear have you been able to provide?
Oh, well, that's the most difficult part, is, you know, so one of the things, like we said, we are trying to, it's very difficult for us, we are a national company, to push it out to all of them. So we are sourcing it locally, and it's as simple as gloves, masks. You know, obviously the N95 mask you're not going to find, but we're talking about, listen, if you go and you just buy yourself a scarf, you know, we'll pay you for that scarf to put over your mouth, you know, or, you know, those like little turtlenecks people are wearing. There's a number of different things out there, and people are getting creative, and employers are getting creative, but it has been difficult for us, just like everybody else in a number of industries, to really get a good system of getting our PPE gear out to our people right now. But as we kind of move through this process, that's what you're seeing, and all companies are seeing, is it's teaching us that we need to be more prepared for these types of things in the future.
Any thoughts on how quickly or what it would take for the supply chain to get back up to where it was before the shutdown?
We're kind of starting to see what today's normal is, and definitely changes on a day-to-day basis. And we expect, if it goes another 30 days, we're going to see more declines in customers and customer base and operating, which we'll have to adjust to, absolutely. And if when it does ramp back up, again, as I said before, when you lay off people, it's not a guarantee that they're going to come back. It's not. So there's training involved. There's all the regulations sometimes just to hire somebody back up if they've been gone for so many days. So there's a lot of things that we have to do, and we look at, and we really don't have a true idea. We're just trying to keep communication open with all of our employees as much as we can. We're holding their health care while they're on layoff. We want to make sure that they have health care through this time. And it gives them an incentive, you know, to say, hey, we know, unfortunately, we had to do this because we had to. Not because of anything that AIM did, but because of what's going on in the world, and we want you back. So we're doing things on our side to say, okay, bring it back. But is everybody else in the world doing that? I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know how fast, again, to get that engine roaring. But the longer we're out, the harder it is to get roaring.
BusinessJournalDaily.com 3 Minutes With is brought to you by.
For over a century, Farmers National Bank has stood strong. Through booms and busts, peaks and valleys, we've learned to know the seasons and how to grow in each of them. During challenging times, everyone is reminded of the value of solid relationships in both life and business. Farmers stand strong.